Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Daily Torah Talks, the 1 o'clock Torah Talk. Today we'll have about a 20-25 minute session, and the first half will be based a story from Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, and the second half will be an insight of the Sfat Emet, the Rebbe of Gur, on Passover. I'll give 1 minute just for a few people to join. Okay, let's start with the story. This story was told to me by the late Rabbi Shalom Brat of Nachlaot and of Montreal, who was close with Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, and he told me in his name, and I'll tell you the story and the way I understand things. Story goes, there was a wealthy man, let's give him a name like Yosef. I guess in Shlomo stories, the names are not as important as what actually happened. So there's a wealthy fellow, his name is Yosef, and as you know, every wealthy man needs a good accountant. And Yosef's accountant, Yankel, was very faithful. He was with him all the time. He kept the books, everything to the letter, everything to the law. And they went everywhere together. One day, Yosef says to Yankel, you know, being in the textile business, I have to go to the city. And those times people would go to the large cities and for their business, and he would look over the textiles and see what's going on. So he decided to travel to the big city, and together with Yankel, and since it was far, and they had to rent a wagon and a driver, so this took a long time, a carriage with the driver, and they stayed over at an inn. And Yosef brought a lot of money because he had to, of course, buy the textiles in order to make the garments back in his little factory at the village. And on the way, they stayed at an inn, and the inn, there was a Jewish innkeeper there. And so they were able to get kosher meals, and they stayed there for the night. And the accountant said, you know, I think that we should maybe bury the money. You never know who comes into these inns. Yosef says, good idea. So they buried it next to a tree, right under the tree, about a foot underground, and they went to sleep. The next morning, they come out of the inn. They look for they get the driver with the wagon. They go to the tree. They start digging. They dig one side of the tree, the other side of the tree. It's not there. All around the tree, 360-degree radius. It's just not there. So Yosef says, what do we do? The accountant says, maybe we should go anyhow, just to look around. Yosef says, that's a good idea. So they go anyhow, and they're off to the big city, and they look around at the various textile manufacturers, and they say, Yosef, wonderful to see you. I haven't seen you for a long time. Maybe you'll buy something today. Yosef says, I can't buy anything today because unfortunately I don't have any money on me. He said, no, Yosef, it's not a problem. Your credit is worth gold. We have no problem with you. Anything you want. Next time you come to town, you'll be able to, you'll pay us. Yosef says, I don't buy on credit. I don't like doing that. It doesn't look good. But all the merchants say to him, Yosef, you can have credit. You can buy. Next time, it's not a problem. We know you for years. Yosef insists, no, this is not a good idea. At the end of the day, they go back through the same way, through the inn. And when they get to the inn, they stay over for the night. And in the morning, they're about to go to the carriage. And they think, okay, we'll take one more look next to the tree. They walk next to the tree, and they see the box with all the coins in it. They open the box, and they see it's totally full. Yosef says, this doesn't make sense. The accountant says, it doesn't make sense. What are we going to do? All of a sudden, Yosef's face changes, and it looks like something came over him. Yosef looks at the accountant and he says, take half of these coins. right now. Put it in your bag, leave. I never want to talk to you again. Count says, Yosef, I didn't do anything. Yosef says, I didn't say you did anything. I told you, take half the coins, put it in your bag. I don't want to see you again. The count says, Yosef, you can't do that. We're best friends. Please, this is my request. Okay, the count takes half the coins, puts it in his bag, and they part, and everyone goes their ways. Well, time goes by. A few months later, business is bad for Yosef. It seems to go from worse to worse, from bad to worse. He has to close the factory. All his savings he starts using up. And he gets to a point he has to sell the house, foreclosure on the business. He can't do anything. And hasn't got a penny to his name. It's a point he feels he has to start begging because he had to sell the house. He had to sell the business. He has no money. All the savings are gone. Goes to live on the street. And there he is on the street, doesn't know what to do at night. Where does he put himself? He goes where the beggars, the homeless, sit on the street. He sits on the street too. He's not very good at begging. He's a proud man. When he stands with his cup, he always looks down. Somebody gives him a piece of cup or kopek or something like that, that's enough, but doesn't really like begging. And all the beggars at the evening, they would get together and discuss, well, what did you get today? What did you get today? And they would brag, I got this, I got 5 kopecks, I got 15, I got a half a piece of silver. Joseph never begged, never nothing, never bragged about these things. He thought it was a terrible thing to do, but what can you do? You need a piece of bread to eat. Well, they all talked about this miser. And all the beggars said, each one of us tried with that miser's house. It never worked. I don't know, this guy's rich. He never gives to anybody. Yosef overheard the discussion. He said, you know what? Maybe I'll go to the miser. Maybe he'll be nice to me. You never know. There could always be a little mazel, a little luck in life. So that afternoon, he walks over to the miser's house and knocks on the door. The rich miser opens up the door, and Yosef is looking down in his cup. He says, please, sir, I need to buy a piece of bread. Here's clunk, goes into his cup, and he walks away, puts it in his pocket, doesn't even look at it. That evening, all the beggars are sitting around, the homeless, and they're bragging about what they found. Yosef puts his hand into his pocket to see what he got. He pulls out a golden coin. He's shocked. The rich man gave him a golden coin. All the homeless see the golden coin in Yosef's hand. He said, where did you get that? He says, I went begging today and somebody dropped this. Anyhow, Yosef goes to sleep, wakes up in the morning, golden coin is gone. He looks here, he looks there. Okay, how do you eat? So he goes back that morning, says, maybe, if I had luck once, maybe a little mazel the second time. He goes back to the house of the rich man, knocks on the door. He says, I'm very sorry. I can't explain it, but I just need a little bit more just to buy a piece of bread. It's absolutely true. Clunk, here's something in his cup, puts it in his pocket, goes back. Again that night, all the beggars are sitting around, bragging, got this, got that. Yosef puts his hand in his pocket, sees another golden coin. Thought the first one might have been a mistake. He's wondering. The beggars see the golden coin. Again, Yosef goes to sleep in the morning. No golden coin. Well, Yosef doesn't know what to do anymore. Your stomach starts bothering you after a while when all you can get is a few crumbs here and there. He says, this day I'm not going. It's wrong. I'll go tomorrow. The next day is a Thursday. Again, he goes to the beggar's house. The rich man's house. He knocks on the door. He says, I will try that this be the last time I come here, but just please one more time. I haven't have very good fortune, so I just need a little bit of help just to get some bread today. Clunk, the coin goes into his cup. He's about to leave, and the man says, wait a second. I gave you 3 coins. He says, yeah, thank you very much. And he's still looking down. He says, I think you owe me something. Yosef doesn't look at him and says, what are you referring to? Says, the rich man says, I'd like you to join me for Friday night dinner. It's Shabbat. And this is what we do in my place. So will you join? Yosef says, I don't usually do that. Says, well, that's my demand. I gave you 3 coins. Yosef says, yes, I will. I'll be there. Thank you very much. And he runs away. So Yosef gets back to the beggars at night, and of course you can guess what happens. He pulls out his golden coin, and hocus pocus, by the morning, it disappears. Okay, it's Friday now. Yosef promised the rich man that he would be at his house. And the day goes by, and the rich man also goes to the mikveh, goes to the house. Yosef also, he likes going to the ritual bath before Shabbat to the mikveh. And he goes to the mikveh, and he puts his clothes there. By the time he comes out, can't find his clothes. They disappeared. He can't understand. Somebody stole his clothes. What's going on? But Shabbat is coming very soon. Moshe doesn't know what to do. He climbs up into a tree because he's embarrassed. I can go around with underwear. He's in a tree, sitting in the tree. Doesn't know what to do. In the meantime, the rich man already went to shul. He's coming back after Lachadodi, after Mariv. And he's come back towards the house, and he sits down at his table. Everything is set. And he's waiting for his guest, but his guest doesn't come. He gets home at 6:30, he's not there. 7 o'clock, he's not there. 7:30, he's not there. I don't understand. He said he would come. So the rich man starts walking around the village, this place, that, and as he walks by the mikveh, he looks up, he hears somebody laughing in the tree. He says, looks at them laughing in the tree, says, hey, you there, you're supposed to be at my house for dinner. Joseph looks down, he sees the rich man, he says, yes, I'm very sorry, the only problem is, unfortunately, I don't have any clothing, it's a little embarrassing. He says, take my coat, just come with me, come on, this is ridiculous. So Joseph comes down, gives him his coat, brings him to the house, and Joseph is walking like this the whole time, very embarrassed. So they're sitting down at the table, and Joseph is sitting like this at one side of the table, and the rich man is on the other side. He makes kiddush, he makes motzi, he starts giving out the bread, then the waitress comes and brings him the soup, and they're having the soup, and now they come to the main course with the chicken. Finally, the rich man looks across, he says, well, are you going to look down at the table the whole evening, or you'll show me a little respect? He says, what do you mean? He says, well, you haven't looked me eye to eye, face to face the whole evening. I think it's time that you don't look down at the table anymore. You are my guest tonight. When you are my guest, we are equals. Okay. Joseph slowly looks up, and he's in shock. The rich man is Yankel, the accountant. He says, Yankel? Yankel says, Yosef? Says, Yosef, what happened? The rich man says. Says, Yankel, what can I tell you? My life has not been well. Says, but tell me something. I need to know 2 things, Yosef. Number 1, why were you laughing in the tree tonight? And even more important, why did you give me half your money 2 years ago and then send me away? What did I do wrong 2 years ago? I didn't steal. I didn't do anything wrong. Why did you banish me from your life 2 years ago? Joseph said, I'll give you the answer to both. Says, my father always told me that life has its ups and downs, and fortune is like a wheel. And one day you are up, and one day you are down. But you know, as the wheel turns, things happen in life. When I came out, look, sometimes money gets lost, sometimes money gets stolen. But when we came out of that inn that second time, and we found the whole box on top of the ground with all the coins, I said to myself, if I am so lucky, unnaturally lucky on this day, it is a warning that my luck is going to change. And I knew I was going to go down, and I didn't want to bring you with me. So I pretended I was angry. I gave you half, and I was hoping and praying that my misfortune would not hit you. And thank God it didn't. Thank God you're doing well. Why was I laughing in the tree? Because when I realized how unnatural it was that not only was my money stolen before, but even my clothing was stolen at the mikveh, which is a very unusual thing to happen. Who needs a beggar's clothes? I said, this is so unnatural, this misfortune. It must be a sign that the wheel is going to turn again and that things will be better from now. Yankel says to him, you know what, Yosef, things will be better because half of my fortune I am giving to you because you gave me half of yours. And from then on, Yosef did okay, and so did Yankel. They continued business together and were very big Balei Tzedakah, giving to the poor for the rest of their lives. Now I'm going to tell you what I think this story means. And the beauty of every Shlomo story is that there's a subtle meaning to it. You see, life has its ups and downs, but that's exactly the point. After every night, there is a morning. So even after a day, there is a night. After every night, there is a morning. We are going through a period of darkness. Thank God most of us are okay. Vast majority of us are okay. It's a period of darkness that is set over the world, probably like many things in life because of human mistakes. And but we have to remember that as we hold ourselves in our Tevat Noach, in our arks of Noach, and the Zohar says about Noah, when God says Noach to go into the ark, so the Zohar says, why does Noach have to go into the ark? After all, God could have made a place where the flood wasn't. And if God made a place where the flood wasn't, then Noach could have been there. In fact, there's a place in Zohar which seems to apply that on the land of Israel there was no flood. So, Eretz Gushma lo Gushma b'yom zam. So why? Lo nimtara b'yom zam. So why did Noach then have to be in an ark? The Zohar says that in times where the angel of death is given the possibility of going on a rampage, people have to close themselves in, even Noach, because you never know if you have enough merit. And so God told him, Vayizgor Hashem ba'ado, God closed him in, so there would be no questions about his merit. It says the same thing about the Midrash. It says the same thing about when the Jews came out of Egypt and came to Yam Suf, came to the Red Sea. So it says that the angel said, why are you drowning the Egyptian and saving the Jewish people? Halalu of Avodah Zarah, halalu of Avodah Zarah. These are idol worshippers of those because the Jews had been so enculturated by Egyptian lifestyle, they had forgotten their own heritage. All they remembered was their names, the Midrash says, and their clothing, which is also a metaphor. And God had to protect them and take them away. As it says in Yoel, that during the time of difficulties, a person is supposed to enter into their house until the zam, until the anger passes. So here we are sitting in our lockdowns, in our houses, and unfortunately, in different places in the world, the news is not always what we want to hear. And we request from God not only to watch over us and the Jewish people, but the whole world, which is going through difficult times. But we know that after the darkness, there's always light, and after the night, there's always morning. So we have to prepare for the morning. We have to use this time significantly for things that we need to mend in our own lives, whether it's relationship with family who are with us, whether it's projects that we were supposed to do, whether it's things that we were supposed to do and never had that time. We have that time now to do these things. And it's also a time, as I said, of introspection and of mending, because that's the best way to prepare yourself for the day ahead. And therefore, I wish us all that we can use this time wisely to mend, to prepare, and understand that the wheel of fortune will switch again, and God willing, we will all go towards health and significant spiritual building and progression within our lives. Shalom, shalom.